Have you ever gone shopping and noticed a store with a lot of stock and wondered to yourself if that store would ever be able to sell all those goods? Or have you ever noticed a hair salon where every seat was occupied with a customer while additional customers were waiting their turn, and wondered to yourself if the salon couldn't earn more if they just employed more staff? With our combined understanding of demand and supply, we can now show how the decisions of buyers interact with the decisions of sellers. In our example, we will look at a hypothetical coal market made up of suppliers of coal, such as coal mines, and buyers of coal. By combining supply with demand, we will be able to determine the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity of coal in this market. In Figure A, we have the standard upward sloping market supply curve for coal labeled S. If you have forgotten why the curve is upward sloping, go back and refresh your memory before continuing. In Figure B below, we have the standard downward sloping market demand curve for the same coal market labeled D. As you know, both the demand graph and the supply graph have the same y-axis, which represents different market price levels. The demand and supply graphs also share the same x-axis, which represents quantity. We can therefore draw or illustrate both the supply and the demand curves on the same set of axes. Figure C illustrates both the demand and supply curves on these same set of axes. This graph now represents the coal industry for this particular market. Where the two curves intersect at the $10 per kilogram level is the point at which both the quantity supplied and the quantity demanded are equal for the same market price level. At this point, where the amount of coal supplied is 150 kilograms per day and the amount of coal demanded is also 150 kilograms per day, we often say there is no shortage or no surplus of goods or services in the market. This is because at the equilibrium point, everything that was supplied by producers was bought by consumers. For example, at the $10 per kilogram market price level, mining companies decided to supply 150 kilograms of coal per day. Consumers of coal, perhaps coal-fired power stations, considered their budgets and needs and decided that at $10 per kilogram, they would purchase 150 kilograms of coal per day, leaving behind no leftover coal. Therefore, we sometimes call the equilibrium price level the market clearing price. In reality, markets do not behave as well as what's illustrated in these graphs, nor is there accurate enough data available to try and draw such graphs. But don't worry, most graphs in the study of economics are not used for representing real markets, but rather to simply illustrate or explain theories or market mechanisms that do occur in real markets. Now that we have both the supply and demand curves on the same set of axes, let's examine what they can tell us when the actual or current market price is not equal to the market clearing price. The market equilibrium price, currently $10 per kilogram in our example, identifies the point at which demand is equal to supply. However, it is seldom the case that the market price actually equals the equilibrium price. In fact, with constantly changing preferences and other fluctuating market conditions, even the equilibrium price can change. The point I'm trying to make is that it is more useful and realistic to assume that the market price fluctuates above and below the market equilibrium price level. Figure A represents the supply and demand curves for the local coal market, which we've been analyzing so far. Let's see what we can learn from the graph when the prevailing market price is above the market equilibrium level. Let's assume the current market price is $25 per kilogram. At this price level, which is relatively high, producers of coal will be willing to supply 270 kilograms per day, as shown by point A. Because the selling price is so high, the mining firms can really profit from every kilogram they sell, so they supply as much as possible. However, a high price means that consumers may not be willing to buy a lot of coal and may turn to cheaper alternatives. At a market price of $25 per kilogram, consumers will only demand 50 kilograms of coal per day. as indicated by point B, which is much less than the 270 kilograms currently being supplied by the mines. This means that a surplus of 220 kilograms will remain at the end of each day. So when the market price is above the market clearing price or equilibrium price, a surplus of stock will be the result. Let's now assume that the market price of coal is $5 per kilogram. At this price level, which is relatively low, producers of coal will only be willing to supply 40 kilograms per day, as indicated by point C. Because the selling price is so low, the mining firms will struggle to earn a profit from every kilogram they sell, so they only supply as much as they can, probably with very little labor. However, a low price means that consumers will be willing to buy a lot of coal, and may even give up cleaner and more expensive alternatives for more coal because it is so cheap. At a market price of $5 per kilogram, consumers will demand 250 kilograms of coal per day, as indicated by point D, which is much more than the 40 kilograms currently being supplied by the mines. This means that at the end of each day there will be a shortfall of 210 kilograms. So when the market price is below the market clearing price or equilibrium price, a shortfall of stock will be the result. The final scenario is where the current market price is the same as the market clearing or equilibrium price, as indicated by point E. In this scenario, the amount of coal being supplied by the mines, which is 150 kilograms per day, is exactly the same as the amount of coal consumers want. This means that at the end of each day there is no shortfall or surplus of coal. It is important to fully understand the concepts discussed in this section, from how the supply and demand curves are defined, to how a shortfall or surplus occurs when the market price is not equal to the equilibrium price. In the next chapter, we will investigate how the market, both suppliers and consumers, respond to either a surplus or a shortfall.